What's up, YouTube? So I just arrived in New York City for some meetings with my publisher. When I arrived at the train station, I went to this place called Chickpea, which makes made-to-order quinoa bowls, which are delicious. In fact, if you look really carefully, you can see a remnant of the quinoa left in my teeth. Yeah. That's kind of embarrassing and gross. Chickpea did not have a place where I could sit down to eat, so I found a food court that did have seating. As soon as I did so, however, a man walked over to me and he said, "Sir, if you want to eat in this food court, you must buy something from this food court." I was like, "Well, can I just buy a soda or something?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I was like, "All right, that's fair enough." So I stood up to start to walk over to the counter. When I did this, however, the gentleman noticed that I have one leg, and he started freaking out. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, please sit back down. You do not need to buy a soda." I'm like, "Listen, just because I have one leg does not entitle me to free seating. I'm happy to buy a soda." He's like, "No, please sit back down." An older gentleman who's seated nearby, who's very New York looking, if you know what I mean, he sees what happens and he gets so angry and starts yelling at the guy who works for the food court. He's like, "This man has one leg! Some people have no effing respect! I've lived my whole life in this city and people have no effing respect!" It was one of those situations where sometimes people might say they wish they could just disappear. At that moment, I wished that my left leg would just reappear and make all of this awkwardness go away. So I sit back down and continue eating my meal, and no sooner do I do so than another employee of the food court walks over and she's like, "Sir, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to buy a soda." And I was just like, oh my gosh, you do not know what you are getting yourself into right now. And sure enough, the New York gentleman starts yelling, "No effing respect, this man has one leg, etc., etc., I'm very angry." Well, the second employee backed off, but before she did, another customer overheard what was happening and she was like, "Are people trying to kick you out of here because you have one leg?" So the older gentleman walks over and sits with this customer so that they can form a mini protest about this food court and their treatment of amputees. I kid you not, the entire 10 minutes I spent eating my quinoa bowl, they were sitting 2 feet away from me having this angry conversation. "The disrespect! The man has one leg!" And they never once looked at me or talked to me. It was as if I wasn't even there. I'm thinking like, yes, I have one leg, but I'm sitting right here. That does not mean that I'm deaf because I can hear everything you're saying. I finished my meal, I stood up, and as I walked away, I gave each of them a winking smile, as if to say, "Thank you for your hilarious and awkward behavior. I am going to go talk about it on YouTube." Please subscribe for a new video from me every Tuesday.